In an old English farmhouse with creaky stairs and drafty windows lived a colony of mice behind its walls. It would have been paradise if not for the shadow that stalked the halls. A jet-black tomcat with piercing orange eyes named Marmalade. Late one day around dusk, a visitor arrived, a mouse of refined stature, sporting a silk top hat, a shiny monocle, and carrying a silver-tipped cane. He politely introduced himself as Professor Squeakalot, chair of feline studies. "Friends," the professor grandly announced, waving his cane for dramatic effect, "I bring you the dawn of a new era. Modern science has overturned the old superstition that cats are merciless killers. For millennia, what we as mice have interpreted as aggression has actually been a socio-biological defense mechanism of theirs. With proper dialogue and reason, I am confident I can persuade this Marmalade to live peacefully among you. After all, that is what every cat truly desires." The mice gasped in astonishment. No one had ever heard about making peace with a cat. "But cats eat mice," said a small mouse named Lila. "That's just their nature." The professor offered a long, weary academic sigh. "My dear child, you seem to have missed my entire point. My latest peer-reviewed research proves without any doubt that our own prejudice against cats is what provokes their aggression." The mice murmured in confusion. It contradicted the wisdom of the ages. As the ancient mouse proverb said, "Never trust the purr." Yet, who are they to question modern science and a scholar so clearly learned? So they voted and agreed unanimously to let Professor Squeakalot the chance to open up the peace process. A tense silence filled the farmhouse. They all froze as Marmalade emerged from the shadows, his orange eyes burning like hot coals. But then something unexpected happened. After a long pause, Marmalade began to purr, and then walked away. He soon returned, however, sporting a tall black top hat and monocle of his own. He carried a plate of cheese and berry wine. Soon he and the professor were laughing by the fire like old friends, playing cards, reciting poetry, and discussing fine art. By evening's end, the professor returned to the other mice, proudly waving a piece of paper. "Peace in our time," he proclaimed, "a formal agreement between Marmalade and the mouse community." And so the celebrations began. Night after night, the mice emerged from their hiding places to feast and drink with Marmalade and the professor. All except one. Only Lila stayed hidden in the walls, though the professor often mocked her for refusing to come out, as Marmalade looked on and continued to purr. Then one night, after the mice had gorged themselves and their songs slurred from too much wine, the purring abruptly stopped. In a blink, the cards scattered, the candles tipped, and the room filled with confused, terrified squeaks. Then silence. A dreadful, awful silence. The next morning, only one mouse remained alive, sobbing inside the safety of the walls. But only later that evening, Marmalade cornered Lila behind a flour sack in the pantry. "Well, well," he said, "so finally we meet. That professor was a fool in love with his own elaborate theories. He thought he understood me, but I just played along. My contempt for him only grew the more he trusted my purr." "But not you, little mouse," his orange eyes gleamed. "You weren't fooled at all. You understood me. You rightly feared me for who I really am. Only you showed me the respect I deserve." Lila took a deep breath, closed her eyes, and hoped that her end would be quick. But it never came. After several long seconds, she reopened them again. Marmalade had vanished. In his place lay a large piece of cheese. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below, and dare to be wise.